Hi, this is Donald Baker. This presentation is brought to you by the Anti-Aging Academy. And as an introduction, it is not intended to provide any medical advice. If you need medical attention, please see your doctor. I'm going to go to screen share mode. Okay, this presentation, the topic is osteoporosis, which means bone porosity. Are you dealing with it, or do you know someone who could use the information? Please stay tuned. A little bit about the Anti-Aging Academy. Primary focus, enhancing cellular physiology and improving physical function. In other words, put your cells and your body in a winning position. Okay, that means a constant healing. And what does healing really mean? Here's what it should mean. It should mean protein synthesis. Anytime your body is needing healing, protein is being synthesized, and it should be synthesized according to your design. In other words, your DNA has all the information required to produce new and healthy cells. And you need uncorrupted DNA. Uncorrupted means your DNA has not been damaged by external toxins. And hopefully the RNA is not being challenged by viruses. Exercise is the stimulus to keep cells young. Once you have passed into adulthood, you need the help of exercise to keep your cells young. Macronutrients provide energy and fuel, and micronutrients help to repair cells and cell organelles. Getting a little bit ahead of myself. Okay, next slide. This is your head coach, Donald Baker. If you see someone with a hat like that, looks like me, it's me. Come up and say hi. Introduce yourself, please. A little bit about experience in education. I was a two-time high school state wrestling champion in Nebraska. I attended Concordia University in Nebraska. I was a 4-year football letterman. I presently hold NSCA Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist Certificate. I am the former owner of Sound Nautilus in Lacey, Washington. As a competitor for bodybuilding, I competed in the Olympia Natural and the Northwest Natural Bodybuilding Championships, won the overall title in both. I was an NPC regional judge, and I am, of course, your head coach here at the Academy. And let's get started. Set the agenda for you. We're going to talk about skeletal anatomy. What is osteoporosis? Program details, enrollment, and relevant questions. Okay, on to anatomy. Okay, this slide shows you the appendicular skeleton. This is the part that moves you around from place to place. And the axial skeleton. Axial skeleton includes the skull, spinal column, and ribs. All total 213 bones. So in the cranium, this is where your intelligent decisions take place. Your creative mind is there, and motivation. All happens here. But if it stays there, we get nothing. So the message has to travel down the spinal column and then out to the appendicular skeleton. That's where we get activity, motion. So your thoughts become actions via the central nervous system out to the appendicular skeleton. All totaled, skeleton looks like that. When it comes to osteoporosis, typically we're looking at a couple of areas that are afflicted. A lot of attention is given to this structure here. This long bone is called the femur. It's the largest bone of the body. And this is the neck of the femur. You can see that it attaches to the pelvis. Oftentimes, the neck of the femur is afflicted with osteoporosis. And of course, the spine itself can deal with or can be afflicted by osteoporosis. So those two areas get most of the attention. And let's move on. Here's a recent discovery someplace near you. 3 skeletons. What do you notice about these 3 skeletons? Oh, they're side by side, all smiling, happy. We've got a black one, a yellow man, and a white man. Again, side by side, smiling, proof positive that at least they were happy and we can do a better job. So I need you to reach out, make friends with someone new, and it'll make you feel better. And hopefully that attempt at humor makes you feel a little better. Next slide. Okay, if you are rolling down Interstate 5 or whatever interstate is near you, you're in your SUV, everything seems fine, comfortable, your music is playing, and what you see here is a tire that blows out. Can you imagine what this feels like when the tire blows out? Completely surprised, tire blows out, the car goes out of control, you have to control the car, hopefully there's no more damage, get to the side of the road and deal with this issue. Okay, it's been said that osteoporosis is a situation where people can actually break their hip and fall. Not necessarily fall and break their hip. Either way, the falling is no good. But understand, many people, the bones will break and then they have a fall, seemingly out of the clear blue. That's just not acceptable. So osteoporosis, bone building, typically going strong in young adulthood, and at about the age of 30, something goes wrong. And I've got wrong italicized because it's not really wrong. You know, that's actually biology, Mother Nature telling you that at approximately the age of 30, if you haven't taken care of business, reproduced, your time is up, or it's very close to up. So a lot of hormones begin declining about the age of 30, and bone building also starts to decline. So bone building really peaks about 30, and then from that point on, things kind of go downhill. 3 out of 10 women greater than 65 years of age are afflicted by osteoporosis. And the number skyrockets at the age of 80. 7 out of 10 women deal with osteoporosis. Do men deal with osteoporosis? Yes, they do. But for some reason, not to nearly the same extent. So again, for a little more biology, osteo, bone, porosis, porous. And again, your skeleton should be strong, and we want to keep it strong, just like a teenager's and a young adult skeleton. And the question is, how do you do that? How do we keep the skeleton strong and up to the challenge? Well, this program is designed specifically to do that. That's what the program is for. Here's a look at a bone cell, osteon. Okay, on a microscopic level or a small level, the osteocyte is an individual bone cell. As we go counterclockwise, I have nerves, arteries, veins, even this lymphatic vessel. What does that tell you about the bone? It should tell you that arteries are bringing nutrients in, veins take waste products away, the nerve will allow you to actually have feeling. So the bones are alive. People have to remember your bones are alive and they should be going strong. So this living tissue is being rebuilt all the time, and that's a great segue to these structures. This thing called an osteoblast, this specialized cell, is the cell that builds up bone tissue. The osteoclast breaks down bone tissue. So as a youngster, understand that this process is always going on, but where's the dominance? The dominance with the building up. The building up of bone tissue occurs with the osteoblast. And again, somewhere around the age of 30, hormones shift, there's a decline, and suddenly the osteoclast begins to dominate, and there is more breakdown than building up. So we want to try to reverse this process so that there is a continual building up of bone tissue. And take a look for a moment at the osteoclast and think about if the osteoclast breaks down bone tissue, and we know that bone tissue is constructed of some components, collagen. Primarily, we think about the minerals, especially calcium. What happens if calcium is being excreted faster than it is being deposited? And boy, to think. Have you ever heard of something called hardening of the arteries? Well, in fact, when the arteries become damaged, the body will tend to lay down calcium in an attempt to heal it. And over time, the arteries become harder and harder, becomes more difficult for the heart to do its work. Blood pressure will go up, and now you've got the introduction of not only weakened bones, but you also have a weakened circulatory system, hypertension, and the other complications of heart disease. What about this situation? Have you ever dealt with a kidney stone? Kidney stone. Do you know someone who's had a kidney stone? I understand it's one of the most painful things you can deal with. Extra calcium, extra minerals being deposited in the kidneys or in places where they should not be. Not completely eliminated via the excretory cycles. Big problem. What about this? Extra calcium, extra minerals in the joints. Creaky, crackly, painful joints. It's been called arthritis. So before you take cheap calcium products, which may end up simply being deposited where you don't want them, you need the proper exercise to stimulate the osteoblast. And we need a version of calcium that the body recognizes as food, as opposed to the chalk that people might be eating from some of these cheap calcium products. Next slide. Okay, the enrollment in this program is limited. You can enroll at antiagingacademy.us. The program is $779 and includes 12 weekly training sessions. These exercises are specifically chosen for their bone building or bone stimulating ability. Initial supplements, collagen protein, special multi-mineral vitamin, which is also designed specifically for the buildup of bone tissue, an osteocalcin screening, and an ultrasound body composition. A little bit about the collagen protein. It's become very popular lately. All protein is not created equally. All proteins are constructed from the same components, which are amino acids, 22 in total. But when it's time to make collagen, your DNA calls for a specific recipe of amino acids. In other words, a specific number and a specific sequence. When it calls for new muscle tissue, that's a different number and a different sequence, a different frequency of amino acids. All proteins are not the same. Your hair, skin, and nails, those are completely different recipes. So understand collagen protein, very important part of this program, and it's a good thing to have available commercially right now, because this is going to move us in the right direction for proper bone health. Collagen protein. All right, evaluate the evaluation process. There's an osteocalcin snapshot, body composition, and accurate records. Osteocalcin is a blood test that is very, very accurate at helping to understand where bone metabolism is, and looking at good bone health. Your body composition measures lean body mass, contrasting with the fat on the body. They're very important for determining your program in terms of producing a macronutrient recipe. Every step of the way provides program validation. The osteocalcin test, the body composition test, it's a multifaceted evaluation process, and that validation very important so that we can actually prove success. Strength training is the backbone of your program. And yeah, the pun is intended. Since time is money, you want to put time on your side, make your time really count. Can people spend time doing exercise and weight training exercises and still lose bone mass? Well, the answer is yes. These are specifically designed exercises and a very special nutrition protocol to help with osteoporosis. All right, supplementation, macronutrients, those are your meals, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and a hormonally advantaged program such that we can encourage a decrease in inflammation, encourage collagen production and bone mineralization. Your macronutrient standards in line with Anti-Aging Academy standards for long-term aging and long-term health. And the micronutrient program is a heavily researched program by Biotics Research. And the selected nutrients and products very specific to this particular condition, and I know you'll feel the difference. All right. Relevant questions for $779, what is included? Okay, again, 12 weeks filled with new information and fun. Body composition screening up front. What percentage of the body is lean? What percent is fat? And how do we devise from that information the proper nutrition and exercise routine for you? Osteocalcin screening, blood test to ensure that we understand where your bone metabolism is, and we want to move it in the right direction of back building up. So your initial supplements, osteocalcin screening, body composition test, 12 weeks of fun and exciting exercise. How often should you train with weights? Standard exercise or standard recommendation for training with weights is 3 times per week. Can you get away with 2? Maybe. Should you train with a partner? More than likely, it's good to have a partner. Your appointments will be mostly one-on-one with myself. However, having a partner will improve your dedication and hopefully keep it more interesting and fun. Should you stop doing other forms of exercise? Unlikely. If you're already active, this is going to just be an addition to your program, and hopefully it doesn't compete too much for your time. We'll make it work so that it's an intelligent program. Where does the training occur? Training is at Whetstone Fitness. Whetstone Fitness is in West Olympia, 1212 Black Lake Boulevard. Well, what if you're viewing this from someplace other than Olympia and you'd like to have this program come to you? Invite me. I might take you up on it. You know, that's the end of the presentation. I hope that you got something fun out of it. If you need additional information, shoot an email, please, to coach@antiagingacademy.us. And that's it. We're signing off. Love you.